three of us, we do put our relationship to the test, right? And we know what's the line that we can draw, what's the line that we cannot do, right? And with that helps a lot to the natural trust transfer.
Well, I'm getting a lot of goosebumps, because what you just said really came from here.
Yes.
I think that's
No lah, you sit the big seat, Ken. You are the big guy.
they're all equally big.
That's what she said.
Well, welcome to the Clean Your Toilet podcast. The toilet is a very sacred place, I must say. It is a place where we clear our shit and the debris of life as we go through day to day. So, the interesting thing is that we are very good at clearing our physical shit, but not the psychological ones. So the purpose of this podcast really is to get people to, organize their psychological shit so that you can move on powerfully through whatever shit that life throws at you. So in today's episode, so my name is Ying. I'm the producer of the Clean Your Toilet podcast. At the same time, I'm also a master certified coach with the International Coach Federation and an ex-CFO of a medical company. And with me, we have the founder of Clean Your Toilet podcast, Ming. He runs his own figure private practice. At the same time, he also runs a business in inner work and coaching where we train the trainers, right, and also turn around businesses. And with us today, we have two very special guest speakers. The first one is, actually it's a brother duo, right? We have Andie and Adam. So both of them have recently had very interesting news online around, they're part of, or founded actually this White Knight group, right? Where they recently acquired Creative Eateries. And Creative Eateries is very interesting as 13 brands under the name. And when I look at the restaurants itself, it's quite interesting. You have places like Barossa Steak and Grill, right? Then we have, what else? Bangkok Jam. So a lot of very interesting restaurants under that. And it is actually the second acquisition that the company has done. So we are very curious as to, what are the plans moving forward and also what brought them to this point. And that's what we're going to spend today's podcast talking a little bit about. So I think just a personal introduction of each of them, right? So Andie, most people will know who he is, right? He's an actor, a producer, creator, entrepreneur, and also a restaurateur, right? So now he is the Chief Marketing Officer of White Knight. And then we have Adam. Adam is a bit more low profile publicly, but what we know of him is that he's a serial entrepreneur. He started Freedom Nation together with Andie, followed by Afro, and then now White Knight Group.
Actually, I started Afro first.
Oh, you started Afro first.
Then after
Afro,
that,
then Freedom Nation. I see.
Before coming into White Knights.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So that's our introduction of our guest speakers. I'll now hand over to Ming to kick off the questions.
Cool. All right, so why don't we talk a little bit more about, what got you all started, with the entrepreneurship journey?
What? Sorry?
What got you all started
what got
on the
us started?
entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, okay.
You go, you talk.
I think I started when I was 15, 16.
Right.
Right? At a point of time, I didn't think that I was the cut-out to the Singapore dream.
Right.
To how Singaporeans will do well in school, go to a JC, go to a uni, and find a great job.
Right.
I didn't feel like I kind of fitted into that mold. So I'm kind of off tangent on that purpose itself.
Basically, he means his results suck.
yeah, that's what my brother was saying too.
Now you kena pauto.
Yeah. That's why it's good to have a brother on the show as well, right? So my results isn't fantastic, isn't good. But I still managed to get to Ngee Poly, and at that point I realized that I really enjoy business.
Right.
I really enjoy self-starting. I do a lot of process and thinking of what I could be when I was really, really young. And that started me on the journey. And what got me started was actually a book. Right? It was actually the book by Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki. So my eldest brother brought that book back home. After reading, I was like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Don't really understand what that means when I was 15, but I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? And ever since then, I think by 17, I started my first company.
Right.
Which is kind of like an online tuition agency with a couple of friends in poly. And then from there, the whole journey, the past 20 years, got to today. Yeah.
So you're 35.
I'm 37.
37.
37, yeah.
Got
17
it.
till now. Yep. I don't think I can start a company when I'm 15 years old.
Right, right.
No,
It's
Back
quite
in
common
those,
today.
I think back in those days, I think it's quite rare. My dad would say I'm crazy to think I want to go do this.
I think it was quite clear when he was younger that he stuck on processes. Like, it's a very simple thing, right? Just take the water. I mean, yes, one day is here, one day is here, one day is there, but I can just take the water, what? Right? But I say, no, there must be a process. There must be a,
system.
Yeah, there must be a way to do it. So then next time you don't have to spend time looking for a water. Yeah. And I, fine, Adam, fine. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. So you are the optimal person. You're always looking for ways to optimize things,
I think
efficiency, systems.
I'm always trying to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
If I can gym and listen to like audiobooks, I'll do that. Like if I can do work on the way, I'll do that.
Right.
Whatever ways that I can do optimization of my time,
Right.
I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
So what shift in the mentality? Because I know this is not natural, for most people. Anyway, the questions are not even on script. I'm just getting really curious.
Actually, it actually came quite. I think so. I think maybe when I was like during like the formative year, 15, 16, 17,
Right.
I actually read quite a few books.
Right.
And I was very influenced by these books, right? 7 Habits of Effective People,
Right.
Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read the whole series.
Right.
And one thing was very clear to me that there's certain success formula.
Right.
Right. It might not be now, it might take some time.
Got it.
Right. But there is a process.
Got it.
Right. And I adhere to those processes really early on.
Got it.
And so I don't know whether is it natural, but it feels quite natural to me.
Got it.
Since right from the start when I was forming my like psyche or whatnot,
Right.
that actually started already.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that's why the first venture is a tuition center business.
It's an online tuition agency. It's
Right.
like, we didn't really have money to rent a place, so online is the best
Right.
other option back in
Right,
the time.
right. And then what happens after that?
NS happened. NS happened, and the company actually got sold to another of my partner who was together with us. And during NS, I actually managed to join DC, so music drama company. Got a little bit more involved with performing,
Right.
and really enjoyed the whole process of it. And right after that, I managed to like start my own like a media events kind of agency,
Right.
for a couple of years. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Andy, how
Yes.
were you part of this whole journey? In his startup. When do you
was just
start the
watching
company?
him? I got my own thing,
Right, right.
Yeah, so I've been. I wanted to be an actor since I was 11, and I've been pursuing that path like very focused for ever since then. So
Right.
I've never really been interested or looked at anything else. So that's why. Like I'm right beside him. We
Yeah.
lived together and all when we were younger. So I'm watching him do all these things, which I kind of drew a parallel with me because we kind of had our own thing. Like he wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to be an actor, and then
Right.
we were just on our paths. Yeah.
So how would you say is your sibling dynamic as kids and then maturing to adults and subsequently business partners?
Actually, before we kind of answer that, right?
Right.
I will have to say that, like, my brothers are, I would say, very important, like one most important people to me, to the point that they have always been part of the process, right? They have always been part of the process. Whether are they involved directly or are they being like a brother to me, like being a mentor, being a brother. We have a lot of conversations, fights, arguments,
Right.
but it always comes from love. And that forms the whatever we
bond.
have, the bond that we have, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Coming back to
think
the
that-
question on
coming back to the
sibling
question,
dynamic,
right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
wow, we fought so much. We fought so much when we were younger, and like
Right.
my eldest brother had to sit in between us.
Yeah. My elder.
The elder brother who is not here today.
Well, my eldest brother who is not
Right.
here.
So we have
today.
one more elder. We have an elder brother. His name is Ash. He is by far the smartest and most macro person in the three of us, and he's also the one that is the least. Maybe not anymore now, but confrontational when we were growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so come on.
So,
share
I think-
about our, what, from your perspective, what was our childhood
Yeah. You know,
dynamic?
I'm like the youngest, but I always want to win.
Oh.
Like I always have. I think we are all very competitive. I think I'm especially competitive. So I have two brothers. One of them who's always winning me and don't really care. Right, that's our eldest brother.
Yeah.
He's always winning.
Yeah,
Like,
wins
he's
everything.
He wins everything, but
Everything.
he don't care. So I only can compete with him because he bothers with it. Like, so I will always try to fight him for things. So I think all these fights kind of build bonds and trust over the years as well, right? So from young, you fought, you fight, you trigger each other all the time,
Yeah.
right? But over the years, this kind of bond us like
Brought
very
you guys
tightly.
even closer together.
Even closer,
Yeah. Right.
And we go through a lot in life.
Right.
We keep striving for more.
Right.
And when when not every attempt to grow succeeds.
Right.
And when I'm at my bottom, my brothers are always there with me, right, guiding me along. So the journey of like fighting, it became a lot more like the closest people that you have on the battlefield, right? You know they will have your back no matter what. And yeah, I think that pretty much describes our relationship now. Like the three of us. Like, yeah.
You know, when you're sharing this, I felt a lot of feelings, coming up from, Adam.
Yeah.
Right, when you're
Oh yeah,
sitting-
for sure. Like, wow,
I mean, to be fair, I was quite abusive to him when we were young, lah. And then I think when we grew up, eventually we did talk about it, and then I did apologize, right? I did apologize, right?
I think yeah.
I did apologize because there was, I mean, when you are like 6 and 10, I mean, we are 3 years different, 6
Right.
and 9, or like 3 and 6. It's like how you win, you cannot win one, ma. Whatever fight, he's gonna lose, right? And I'm not afraid to make him know he lose.
Yeah,
so
but
I
will
think
cheat.
doesn't matter, you will still lose. So I think a part of his competitiveness is also from me always being so in his face when he lose. Like when you lose, it's like loser, loser. Like in his face. So like when I grew up, I also realized that maybe I was a bit abusive, but I was young. But I think quite fortunate we communicate and then like we apologize since we are older now and there are no hard feelings. But I do feel that when I see a lot of my friends, like they don't have very. It's not common for siblings to actually be very close to
That's
each
right.
other.
That's right.
It's actually harder than you imagine
Right.
because it comes with a lot of
Right.
baggage, right?
Right.
And I think for us, it's quite lucky that we are 3 brothers and we are. I mean, I think I'm fairly say I will trust my life with both of them, and they would say the same.
Yep.
And I think that is quite rare, and we appreciate that.
Right.
That also gives us the foundation for us to do hard things together because we know, like. I mean, there is he has my back, and whatever the worst thing happen is the 3 of us together. It's not like I'm not alone.
Right.
I'm not gonna be starving alone.
Right.
If I'm starving, they are gonna feed me. Unless all 3 of us are starving together, then that's not that bad. So yeah, that is a very empowering, and it puts you in a very good place, especially when you are trying to do hard things. Yeah.
Right. Consensus reality. How do you all form that consensus reality to support each other? That no matter how hard or confronting you guys were to each other, you know that each other is for your own highest good of all.
We never really talked about it, right? But we kind of just knew. Yeah.
So what would you say was each of your lowest point, and then how did the brothers supported you?
We haven't even started the questions down here.
Yeah. Longest point.
But we're feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanna go?
Because he mentioned that first, right?
Yeah.
I think
Your brothers were there at your
wow,
lowest
there were
point.
a lot.
Yeah, lowest.
The
There
one
were
that,
so many of them. I think I will just take one example. One thing to be an entrepreneur might be a dream, but it takes a lot. And sometimes the market will tell you that you suck. I remember when I first started, I think I had success rather quickly. And I got cocky and I decided to overexpand. I decided that, if I can do this, I just need to pump in. If I can do this with 2 staff, I can do X amount of value. If I do with 20 staff, I can 10x this value.
Right.
Simple
Right,
math.
right, right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense, right? Actually, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it didn't make sense at all. Right? And I think it was a period of time, I think that was a good 6 months to like 9 months where I was basically crying myself to sleep, right? I know I have like $10-$20 to my bank account. At the end of the month, you have to pay salary to everyone.
Right.
You're just praying and hoping that the client will pay you in time so they can pay your stuff, right? I think those were like really quite painful, like couple of months, and didn't know anyone to speak to until my brothers noticed, hey, what's wrong, right? And at that time, it's much easier to talk to them because you know that when you admit defeat, this vulnerability needs to be someone who can safeguard you, right? And I think my brothers are the only one I could do that to, right? Especially at that time. So these were just like some of the many like low moments, right? And they have always been there, like no matter what. Even if I was just having a fight with them because I was just feeling shitty, but they will still notice it like, hey, what's wrong, right? Something is wrong, something is off, right? They will always check in, yeah. Even when we are not staying together nowadays, right? They will also notice nuances of how we are.
Right.
Some text messages, sometimes whether they reply message more with a lot more gap. They can also sense that. I think that kind of sense builds up over many, many years.
Right, being
of
able
trust.
to pick up the signals, the feedbacks.
Yeah. And those are the journey of the downs, right? And it's also when we are celebrating, like who do we want to celebrate with? Like they will be the first people I want to celebrate with, right? Whenever I achieve something. So naturally, when it comes to the time where we are taking on a very, very big project, you want someone who will, no matter what, have your back. You will want someone who, when you reach there, you want to celebrate with. So everyone asks me like, are you sure you want to do business with your brothers? I'm like, yeah, of course, right? Because if shit happens, I have them by my side. When we succeed, I have them by my side, right? Yeah, and it's really built through like so many like failures previously. Yeah.
What was it like for you?
Similar. But I would say, I mean, I think he kind of nailed it, lah. I think I can represent even Ash to say that this is common among the three of us. Like, we kind of know we are never really alone because, like, worst case scenario, like, I go bankrupt and then my wife leaves me and everything. Like, my brothers are still gonna be there, lah. You know, they're still gonna be there. So that is always a very comforting thing to know, right? Yeah, and then if anything to add to that, I also like to. I think one aspect that what made our siblinghood successful is the fact that we are constantly demanding each other to grow in many, many ways. Like, we kind of hold each other quite accountable. So, like, if we have a fight and then no matter how emotional you are, you still have to objectively and logically state your point, and you will still be judged based on whether you are logical and whether your argument stands or not, regardless how emotional you are. Yes. If you're very emotional at the time, then go take a breather, I don't care. Then come back and then facts are facts, then we deal with that. So in the long run, it just forces us to be forces our EQ to really go up by miles lah, because we know that, like, we can't hide it, we can't like throw something or scream and shout and then that's the end of the argument. It doesn't work that way. Like, eventually you still have to, you know, put out your evidence, put out your stats, take out the message and proof, and then so when you have that is the basis of everything, then very quickly you have a basis of trust and operation system between the three of us, and then that gives you a lot of trust and gives you a lot of foundation to build whatever you want, because it's going to be built on top of something solid. So I think that is, if there's a secret to our closeness, then I think it is that. Yeah.
And how do you shift in between different roles and identities without collapsing it?
What in
So I
what
give you an
sense?
example.
Yeah.
So maybe you're in the role of a brother because
Yes.
that's what you guys have been highlighting. Okay, and then in the business itself, you're gonna shift into the role of the business. Okay, you're the CMO.
Yeah.
There's something that needs to be done. You know how it works, but your brother have a disagreement.
Yes.
And then how do you prevent personal issues or personal
That's a very good
stuff
question.
comes out and keeping all the lines clean?
Yeah.
I think Andie just answered that already. Like,
Right.
we do have operating principle within
right.
the three of us. It's always about factuals. Objectively, you have to bring it up to be able to answer. It's not something like you can, because I'm the CEO,
Right.
I can do it. Or because I'm more experienced in this, I can do it.
Right.
Like, back it up.
Right.
Without backing what you think up, it's not going to be valid within the three of us.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Like, whether are we brothers, are we in corporate positions, if you can't back it up, you can't back it up.
Right. So there's certain value system that's already openly communicated and it's agreed among the
I
relationship.
don't know whether we ever openly
I
communicated
think
this
it's
before.
quite
Right?
blatant already. I mean, we all know it's basically about transparency and accountability. So we don't like fluff our words. We don't say things, just to make it sound better.
And
So
you get called out for it,
we can't, if you do that, people are going to call you out, and then
Yeah.
it's not going to look good on you. So we just go straight. I think another thing that is very important, I think you mentioned about lines, right? Because we are
Right.
we call each other 帮字帮君帮姐. That's our Chinese name.
Oh.
So personally, so like work wise, then I tell them like, okay, let's use Andie, Ash, and Adam.
Yep.
So we know when we are addressing each other professionally.
Nice.
So if I say, Adam, I need to talk to you about this thing, he knows immediately we're talking
Company.
about something professionally.
Right.
Don't put our relationship into this at this point. But if I say, 帮姐, he knows immediately I want to tell him, talk to him at an emotional level.
Right.
So very quickly, I thought that was helpful that we can establish that differently to the staff also. So once they hear us talk in our professional name,
Right.
they recognize us as that role.
Right.
Also, sometimes it's about there is very little space for ego between us. Like, I'm the elder brother, right? But he's the CEO. You know what I mean? Like, and like, if I had any bigger ego, I'll be like, but no, really, why must I listen to him? But like in a meeting, because I'm heading the marketing department, and if he's in that meeting, he will sometimes say, Andie, shut up, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, but he in a very like, Andie, shut up, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to listen to you now. I want to listen to them. Then he it might sound very unprofessional, but in that environment where we were very intense in discussion, it was not attack. To me, I didn't even take it as attack. I'm like, oh, okay, I know he's trying to get the staff to talk, to show us what they have in their mind and show us how they feel in their heart. And I know, he's telling me to move back. And I could get angry because he could say even more tactfully, right? Like respectfully, right? But I also know this is not my position and this is not the place. Like, he find this necessary, I'll step back and I'll let him take the lead. But if I feel at any point in time he oversteps or I'm uncomfortable,
Right.
I will go home and I'll tell him like, I thought that made me uncomfortable and the reason is ABC.
Right.
Like, I would have preferred if you have done A1, B1, C1 instead and talk to me in this tone instead, so that my staff can see me at the same level as you instead of the hierarchy. Anyway, it goes into very complex, but you have to propose. I have to first, in my mind, fully digest why I was uncomfortable.
Why was I reacting this way? Why was I
Yes.
triggered? What's the awareness?
Exactly.
So I'm aware now.
Yeah. So
Alright.
I have to present. I have to first be aware,
Right.
digest it, be able to communicate it. Then I bring it up to
Right.
him. Then it becomes very easy for him to. Yeah, you're right. Next time I won't do it. I will do it this way instead, lah. Yeah.
Right.
That happens
And
quite often.
That happens quite often.
Right.
Yeah. And the good thing is that because like between us, we really don't have the ego in the sense that like we don't pull rank, we don't throw in our emotions towards it. We really digest.
We
and
try our
let it
best
know.
not
We
to,
try our
lah.
best. Try our
Right.
best, right?
Yeah.
And when conversation like that happens, it also builds trust every single time it does. Right? You know that both party understands where they stand, what's the response as well as what's the reaction if I take some actions, right? And how can these actions be improved every single time, right? And that kind of journey, it's repeated so often, right, for us.
So it naturally became like a protocol. You will just jump into that thing even without trying.
Yeah. And I have to say that they do know I'm a tad more aggressive.
A
A tad more aggressive.
I will hear the undertones.
A tad more aggressive, right?
Right.
And I can, and that, if people don't understand or don't know who I am,
Right.
they will feel that I might be rude.
Right.
But sometimes they feel like I just want to get through the work, right? And then they feel that, hey, there can be better ways.
But you need a CEO with fire. You're not gonna get anything done.
That's right.
Being like calm as ice and like flowy like me. Like it's not gonna get you anywhere. It's not gonna get you anywhere. So sometimes when I see him in that mode, like yes, I can get pissed off or I can be like, oh, finally, it's like
But
some
you'll
fire,
get
baby.
things done.
Yeah. Like I need, because sometimes I can't do it. I
Right.
can't do it. I'm too empathetic to people, and then
Right.
I'm like, okay, why don't I ask him first, then get this done? Then he's like, shut up, just kick the door. Then
Kick your
nah,
ass.
the answer is there.
Right.
Finish already. What did you spend the last 6 hours? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
So it's necessary sometimes to get things done.
Right.
And as long as he's not abusive or malevolent, he's a good person with a good heart. He's trying to get things done. And sometimes I think people will appreciate a leader that can do that, And yes, whatever else he needs, we will be there to support and talk and discuss and whatever. But we need this CEO, we need this fire to get things done. We are freaking talking about F&B in Singapore. We're not gonna float in the lazy river and get it done. It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but it's very interesting because the process you all develop in terms of how you manage your relationships through conflict is not very different from an operating process of a company, right? It's almost like what's happening at the relational level, it goes to the company level, it still operates in a way where it's very objective and very clear, which I would say, being somebody in the personal development space, working through with people, their conflicts, this is quite rare.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yes. So,
I was a little bit jealous as you're talking about that.
Wow.
yes.
Also, as in like what they.
I mean, most of the time is a lot more dysfunctional, right? Like, if we're arguing, okay, let me just walk away. Okay, let me just cut you off. Or like we just leave things under the carpet. We're not going to talk about it and try to
we
pretend
do that
things
too,
work.
lah. I mean, that is human nature, but we will open up the carpet.
Right,
and
right.
Deal with it when
Right,
we have
clean
the
your
bandwidth
toilet.
to, lah.
Yeah,
Clean your toilet.
Yeah.
Then perhaps the question here is, what helps you to develop this process, right? Because just now when you started talking, you said it's a process. You said it yourself.
Yeah, it's a process.
I just
Right.
want to put it across, right? It might sound very natural, right? But to the audience who is watching, totally not normal.
We are abnormal. That's what they say.
Right.
Off tangent, right? I know we are a bit off tangent already.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
How do
I
we?
was like, I mean, we're just abnormal. Like this is not, if that's what you're saying, right? We don't see it as per how usually people function.
So from a outsider perspective, right? That's like a high dream in many working relationships.
Yeah, it's like a very good
Oh.
practice in terms of relating, resolving conflicts, and not leave things underneath that could come back to bite you.
It
How
sounds
do
very.
we develop this?
It sounds
Yeah.
very straightforward.
Through fights and more fights.
I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah, fights,
because
fights and
we
more
had
fights.
fights and fights
Right.
when we were young, right?
Right.
That we had so much practice, right?
Right.
Like you cannot just fight. But next day, if I want to play soccer, I still have to look for you, because you're my only option, right?
Right,
So how
right.
do I get to finish the argument so I can play soccer with you?
Right.
I have to finish it, right? So I guess in the long run, we just kind of
I
got
just got a
better.
goosebump. This was so powerful the way you just put it across.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was just that. It's just like we have to get it done so we can get to the good
cause
part. of
some
the
games
relationship.
you just need each other to play, and you just have to finish the fight, and you just need to get past the emotions in order to play together again.
Yeah. I think if anything, like actually it's the first time we actually thought about how we got into. I honestly, I'm just talking out of my ass lah. I don't really know how we come out with that process lah, because
Right.
it just seems like as we grew older, it just became clearer and clearer.
Natural.
Like, this is how we
Right.
do. And then when we know when we were running this, and then we actually sat down and then we actually wrote down our operating principle for the company, and then it said like this have to. The company is basically an extension of you were saying just now,
Yes.
right? Before we walked
Of
in,
who you are,
it's an
yes.
extension of who we are. And they say like if we are the three spirit of the company, then it has to expand from us, and we have to first believe and live it. Then we can expect our staff to
Live the
live this
culture.
thing. Yeah, and they shouldn't be worried to talk bad about, say, their manager or their, yes, there is a hierarchy to get things done, but we need to speak up when we see something that is not right. And we shouldn't be worried that they will take it personally, because it should all come from, one, a professional place, and two, a place of care. I want this company to grow together. I care about the team I'm working with day in, day out, and it should stem from there. So that I guess we did do that lah.
Right.
Yeah, more purposefully.
I just suddenly thought of something, right? That maybe we we did. We always, because we are very close, so we
Right.
always share, right?
Right.
So whenever we read a book, we read some things, we actually share with each other like what are some of the books that we can read together, right? And we might not agree on all of the values,
Right.
but we do read quite a lot of common books. And because we are brought up in similar values, some of the values from each of the books actually speaks commonly to us, right? And one of the books Andie recommended to me was actually Principles, like Ray Dalio, right? Yeah, Principles. And every time he reads a couple of chapters, he will share a little bit more. Hey, what do you think about this? I think this is quite important for you. Like Adam, I think this is quite important for you. Or Ash, I think this is quite important for you, right? You can actually take a look at it, and we will take the chance to actually read the books, and then from there we also share with him. So I think over the years, reading like books that has similar values that we all agree upon actually does help drive us towards the same values.
Right, and then it became like an update system where each other is at, on the journey. I'm always watching out for you. I'm checking in, getting clear feedback. If it's a yes, it's a real yes, not a half yes,
I would say Ash loves to do that. Like he likes to catch our half yeses,
Right.
and then drive into like, no, what's the? I can sense that you are saying half yes.
Right,
What's the issue?
right,
Yeah.
Like you always catch us on that.
right. Watching for double signals, mixed signals. Right.
Yeah. So I think that potentially could be one of the other thing, other than whatever we just happen to do.
Right.
And given that you all have been through a few businesses together, now this is the third one, right? What would you say is the biggest interpersonal challenges you all have had to go through
Interpersonal as in between us.
between the two of you, or between the three of you?
between the
very
three.
different styles of working. You wanna share?
I think once again I'm a tad aggressive, right? And because I'm very process driven.
Right.
I want data, I want numbers. I want to make sure things go a certain way. Things needs to be run in a certain method. And when things don't run the way I think it should be, in the most optimized way, I will kick down doors to make sure things happen. And this, in different situations, some situation might work, while some situation might not. And when it doesn't, it can turn out quite bad. Yeah. So I think those are more of the things that between us. Sometimes when I do that, it might be, especially for the first few times we work together. Right? First few times we work
Actually,
together.
we only worked together twice lah. The first time we worked together, there was no Ash in the picture, and I think that was harder.
Yeah.
Because Ash was a bit of a
Mediator, facilitator.
mediator and also a translator.
Right.
Because we communicate in very different ways. Like he said, he's very instinctual and aggressive, and his communication might be lagging behind his actions. So for me, I'm very thoughtful, and I always think about like, okay, if I say this, like how are they going to interpret it? Wait, let me break it down into clearer chunks. Let me first say this line so they understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
So I'm slower, but I like to do things in a deeper
Right. You pay
way.
attention to the feelings.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So there's a lot because
Right.
I can't help it. It's just the way I'm designed. So I know I am like that. So sometimes when the two of us communicate, it's like, wow, irritating, and then we're like, so there is that part. But as we work together more, we start to understand each other more, and we all have strengths. And I keep telling him a lot of weaknesses. We all have weaknesses, but we kind of know each other's weaknesses, so we are very forgiving about our weaknesses, and we will cover your weaknesses so that you can go do your strength and do it well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think doubling down our strengths lah,
Right. Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
Noticing the fact that sometimes you don't need to keep focusing on the weakness, because that's not how you build a team, right? To build a team of bonds is really very focused on how can I focus on each other's strengths and bring out, doubling down on that strength so that they can achieve a lot more while covering their weakness. I think that took a while to...
Yeah, and not just strength and weaknesses in a very typical way, like, you are very strong as a CMO, or you're very strong as a CEO. Like, these are boxes that boxes in,
That's
right? Like, but some people, what if I'm very good at like 80% of a CEO job, but 20% I'm just zero, I cannot do it. Does it mean I cannot be a CEO anymore? It can't be what, right? But if you can give so much value here, then can we not box you in that way and do something about that last 20%? And then maybe you have another something here that is not within the CEO, but you're so good at it. Then can we draw it this way instead?
Right, the fluidity to move around different
Yeah.
roles rather than boxing each other into certain identities, certain roles itself.
Yeah, so it gives us a lot of security when we voice out what we cannot do.
Right.
Instead of feeling like, I'm a CMO, I'm supposed to be able to do this, but I cannot, I'm not great at this, Then, okay, let me spend 90% of my time trying to get this thing that I'm not good at to average level.
Right, you're just focusing
Well, instead
on
of,
the
why
negativity.
don't I just spend this time and just freaking get really good at what I'm really interested in and really good at it.
Right.
So having that security to know I can be honest about, I'm actually not great at this stuff,
Yeah.
but I know it's my job, but I'm
Right.
not great at this. Can you all give me some support?
Right.
Or can we hire someone that can cover this part? So having that security makes it so much easier to work together.
Space is safe to actually voice out what do I need.
Yeah.
Having each other needs heard and being met.
Yeah.
And from the company standpoint, that's pretty important, right? Because then you express what you are not great at, and at least somebody can fill in.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I
it
think,
creates a lot
I
of
think
issues.
that's why in a company, especially on the leadership team level,
Right.
having a deeper bench is very important, because I recognize the fact that I cannot be everything. I cannot be good at everything, and I don't have time to be good at everything.
Right.
So having trusted partners to just take on the segment that they are good at, and just me being focused on what I'm good at, will be a lot more helpful.
Right.
Right.
And how do you develop trust as business partners?
I think it's a natural transfer, right? I think as business partner, it's a natural transfer of trust from years and years of like being brothers, lah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's again interesting because having a good relationship doesn't translate to being able to work well together. We've seen cases where
100%.
people have great relationships, but the moment they go into business, the whole thing turns upside down,
Yeah.
right? So,
No, I
It's-
think for the trust.
Talking about
it's
spouses or
Not spouses, but brothers.
brothers.
Well, siblings as
really?
well.
Brothers. We cannot name.
Okay. Yeah.
I think for
I'm
us,
sure lah.
even though this is like just the second business that we are doing together, but we're actually doing a lot of like different projects together. Right.
Like from a soccer team,
yeah,
even when you were
yeah.
young, all that stuff.
Yeah, we try to join some competition together. We try to play some things together, or we try to do investments together. Right, you know, all of
Which
this.
didn't turn out great lah.
To be honest, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe like you said, some people just have very, very good relationships, but they don't put relationship to the test by taking on projects. But I think for three of us, we do put our relationship to the test, right? And we know what's the line that we can draw, what's the line that we cannot do, right? And with that helps a lot to the natural trust transfer.
Well, I'm getting a lot of goosebumps, because what you just said really came from here.
Yes.
Right.
I think we really go through a lot. We really try a lot of things, and we really go through a lot of things together.
Right.
And we really force. I think because of all these things, we actually force a lot of like very deep-seated conversations.
Right.
Like even my own insecurities over things, and I have to express it out because they are my brothers. You see, they know when I'm not saying something out. They were like, "Yeah, you're not saying something." I might not get it out this time round, but next week when we have the chat, I'm gonna find ways to make sure you say you like make sure you say everything out that you need to, right? And I think that kind of like test of the relationship over the years just evolved to this stage where at this point of time, we don't really talk about trust much anymore because
It's so
it's
natural.
it's very natural that
It's built up already.
It's
like
built up already.
We have hanging there.
yeah.
enough.
So all these things, all this time, all the journey, it's all like what he was saying. Trust like a bank. I put money in the piggy bank itself, right? Sometimes you have to take it out, I know, but but most of the time you are putting in, and the bank is filled with trust, right? And when the bank is so filled with trust, we give each other a lot of benefit of doubt, right? Like sometimes we say some things, we're like, oh, situational, but we're gonna come back to this later on. Put a pin in it, we'll come back to this.
Right.
But let's get the things done on hand first.
Right.
Right. And all of that is because we have built up and established the amount of trust we have in each other.
Right.
Right. So talking about, testing the relationship, right? I guess your relationships must have been tested when Andie moved to Taiwan, right, for almost 5 years, starting a new career and your own family, right? So how would you say, like, how was it tested?
I flew in for a month during COVID to spend time with my brother and my nephew and niece.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we know that we are all very career driven. Right. We do want to achieve something. Like he said, like very, very young, he already knows he wants to be an actor, and very, very young to be an entrepreneur. But at the core, we know family is very important for us. So yes, it did, like, you used to hang out every day, and suddenly you don't hang out as much. But thankfully, because we used to hang out every day, and we always say this, like, I think common thing is that, like, my brothers are my best friends, right? And because of that, it's like you suddenly have a best friend that is like very, very far away, and you will still try to chat. We'll try to play games that we can have voice messages, we can talk while we're playing games together.
Right.
So we try to find ways to.
And also because it was the investments and all the little projects we are doing together, that kind of forces us to always be in
each other's
communication
life.
and in each other's life. Yeah.
So it's even though he's physically not here as much, but we are always like talking, we're always communicating.
So I think actually the move to Taiwan actually revealed a very surprising fact that I never imagined before in my life, because there were actually two groups that my friends and close friends and family like split into. There is the group that is like, we're gonna miss you, but freaking go do what you want to do, go do it. And then there's the other team that is like why are you doing this, and you do this, and that team that is like, oh, why you do this and all that, right? I think some of them, not all, some of them maybe they are just very conservative in nature and they are worried, right? But there's some of them gave me the vibe that once I'm not around, that means whatever they are getting from me, they can't get it anymore. So I have no more value to transfer to them, and some of them made me felt that.
Right.
That was the main reason why they were
The
disapproving.
Right.
And then I very quickly got wow, I didn't realize our relationship was
Based on that
exchange
kind of
based on value change,
Right.
like in such a direct way.
Right.
And a lot of them actually eventually showed their cards with the years, because I was there this is my 5th year now. So then I was like, oh wow, it actually let me see through the true colors of a few of my friends actually. So it was interesting to see. Yeah.
Right. And how was it like, realizing that at first?
Initially, I was just confused.
Right.
Because in my mind, that was not an option, right? If like any of my real friends wanted to
That wouldn't be
fly
what you
away,
do.
I'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to miss you, but yeah,
Go for it.
Like there's so
Right.
much, I'm like so proud of you, just freaking do it. Don't care. You cannot, then just come back. But now just, then when I get a response, I was a bit like, huh? Like, how come you are responding in this way? Then I didn't first initially put it as like, oh, they wanted value. It took a long time for me to slowly digest, like, why am I feeling this way? Why is he or she like feeling this way? And it took me a long time to slowly digest and for things to play out. Then I realized, I have no more value to this person anymore. So they didn't want me there because my value is only increased when I'm here with them, when doing whatever I'm doing with them. So that became apparent lah. So choose your friends wisely. That's all I can say.
How did you deal and process with these difficult emotions of betrayal, abandonment?
I think honestly I was in too much of turmoil to care after a while, because the first few years in Taiwan was very rough for me.
Right.
It was COVID, and then like I was new there. I was an extreme introvert, and then and the industry is very rough, and I was not getting work and all that stuff. So it was very rough, like, and I was just trying to survive, honestly speaking, financially and emotionally as well. Yeah, so all these things just came together. But eventually I kind of slowly found my footing, and we found another gear, the family and I, and then yeah, so we just kind of see things a bit clearer.
What do you
now.
mean by another gear?
Oh, because it's different.
Right.
In Singapore, we have a very nice environment. We are quite taken care of, and even if you are from a middle income family, the odds of you being raised by helpers are pretty high. You know, like you sleep in aircon every night, you're safe outside, you still get to eat in restaurants pretty often. We got nice new shoes, we just have very good life, right? And me being an actor since I was 22, that's my first full-time job, and then I managed to make a decent living, and then I got projects. I was getting leading roles and stuff, and I made a decent amount of money that it was normal to live at a certain quality of life.
Right.
But then the first few years in Taiwan, then I realized, it can be this tough. In my mind, I know it was tough lah, but to live it is
The reality is different.
The reality is
Right.
different. No, and then I think it was the same for my wife, because we both went there together. We both dropped everything. We kind of in a way burned a lot of bridges. Not like piss people off, but the fact that we are not here anymore, we burn a lot of bridges, and then which means we have to live with our decisions and make it work. And then a lot of things we had to do ourselves, right? Now we are scrubbing our toilets, cleaning our toilets ourselves, cleaning my kids' shit off the toilet, and a lot of things that are just so mundane and rough, and like thinking about financially, how am I gonna, do I want to take my kids out of this school that I think is great for them just because I'm worried about the school fees, or should we decrease our insurance, all that. So very realistic stuff, and then we didn't know how to react, because it was like never did we have to make this kind of decisions before.
Right.
But then eventually you adapt lah, and then we kind of found our footing. I wouldn't say it's the same, we don't lead the same life anymore. We are so much more grounded, and that's why I say we found a different gear. Like, this is another gear that we didn't know we have, and now we have it, and then we are comfortable and happy with it. Yeah.
Do you feel also more confident in the way you approach challenges in life?
In a way, yes, because like I will plan my big plans more carefully next time. But also in a very dogged way, I feel also quite proud that I was so determined to do it, even though I was naive and clueless, but I was so determined to do it, and I made that decision, which I don't regret. And then I'm also very proud that my wife supported me and decided to go with me in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I say,
15 minutes.
Yeah. We took 15 minutes to agree, and it took 2 months for us to relocate.
Right.
Yeah. So it was madness. It was just and yeah. So there's the major things I'm proud of. The minor things, there's a lot to be improved on.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what would you say led to the depression that you experienced in Taiwan?
Exactly that. No? The fact that all the things that were pillars and I thought I took for granted in life that was
Started
just
to fall
norm
apart.
was just not there anymore. And then I had to do a lot of things on my own, and because it was COVID, then because we had to make it work financially, my wife sometimes had to fly back to work, which means I had to take care of my kids on my own. And I was in a foreign land. I didn't even know how to pay their bills, and I didn't even know how to do the most fundamental things. So it got to a point whereby it felt like your self-worth is just very, very low, because you feel like, is this all I'm worth? I can't even take care of my kids on my own. I can't even pay a bill properly without making mistakes, and like it's very that was, I think, was a slippery slope lah. So it really got me down though. I think that was what led to that point where there was that depression, because it was COVID also, because a lot of my self-worth was attached to my work, right?
Yes,
Right.
My
correct.
ability
More
as an
outward.
actor, right? Like I can act, and I know you put me anywhere in the world, you put me on a set, I'm gonna be able to deliver. But there was no work. There was no production.
Well, the production is what's in a home.
So, and I'm at home, so my worth now is as a father, which I'm like a stay-home father, which I'm not great at, honestly. So it became very hard, right? I mean, I couldn't even really took care of myself, and then now I have to take care of family. So then every day it was just reminding me how little worth I have.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to refine that value in myself. Yeah.
Can I help you put it across in a...
Please do.
It's more like, there has always been underlying challenges or issues that we might not be necessarily aware of. Like the situation, the circumstances kind of forces you, to look into who are you really. Beyond the mask, beyond the labels that you kind of identify yourself with. And when everything was stripped away, who am I?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Fair to
Right.
say.
And how did your healing journey or process begin from there? Because there's a saying called breakdown happens before breakthrough happens.
Yeah. I think I mean a lot of the credit has to go to my wife lah. Like
Right.
I just told her like I couldn't. I'm not well. I'm not doing it well.
Right.
Like really I'm not doing it well. And also emotionally I feel like I'm getting to a worse and worse place lah.
Right.
So like I don't think I can do this on my own. I don't think I can take care of my 2 kids and you being gone another 3 months on my own. I don't think that's a good idea.
Right.
Then we very quickly readjusted lah, and then she came back to just stabilize everything, make sure I'm okay, make sure the family's okay, and then we worked on basically how do we adjust it in a way that financially it's gonna work. That means I take more of the financial load lah, right? So maybe I don't be so picky with my job, which I am very picky, and then I spend more time, even if I have to spend more effort compared to her to make the same amount of money, but I'll go do it because I'm better at this and I can do this, and I'll emotionally be happier.
Right.
And she's also okay staying at home. She's happy staying at home also, right? So we readjusted, and then to the state we are today, which is why, again, I'm doing most of the work and bring home most of the money.
Right.
But my wife is, I credit her lah. She can make money also, but I cannot take care of the kids. So she's the more capable one among us lah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was how you found your footing back.
Yeah, so we
to-
slowly adjust, and
Right.
then we talk about it, and then so now sometimes my wife will be like, I don't make any money. I'm like, hey, don't even start, like just take it, yeah, you're so good at doing this because it's visible, like her passion for raising kids, her passion for taking care of family, it's palpable. You can sense it in the room, and I'm like, why are you worried about making money? When this is obviously what you're so good at and you love it, it's not gonna last forever. Just do it now. Let me worry about the money. I'm gonna squeeze it out. I'm gonna find a way. And then there's that trust in each other. Then eventually we manage to stabilize ourselves. Like, of course there is a phase of the transition, but yeah. That's why I say we found a new gear.
So it's like a work in progress, it's testing out, checking in with
I have
the
to say
feedback.
she's like my idol when it comes to like parenting.
Right.
Oh, wow.
My sister-in-law I learned so much from her, like taking care of kids and whatnot over the years.
Right. I hope she's watching this now.
Yeah.
When it's out. So, Adam, for you being so far away from your brother and then, finding out that he's going through depression and all that, what was that
I
experience
don't
for
think
you?
he knows.
I flew over. What?
Oh yeah.
That was the time.
So that was that time.
That was the time. I flew
Okay.
over.
So that
I
was your way
felt-
of showing up for
Yeah,
him.
I think I think it's an important period of time where we recognize that
I have to say, they did know like financially I was in trouble, and they always say like if you need, we always will back you, which and they did, and they did. But I mean not like by a lot, but I know like if it, and they are not the only one, right? My parents also like, hey, if you need, like we have lah, but you don't want to you don't want to take it from them. You know, that's also part of the thing, right?
Because it's for you.
It's
about
my
finding
it's
your
my
value.
thing. Yeah, I have to deal with this, right? Like you know, if my kids are starving, then yes, I'm gonna ask you
you're
for
right.
money. But my kids are still in school. They are getting good education. I mean, I'm not mistreating them. Then we are eating well.
It's something
and
that
all.
you're gonna do it for yourself.
I have to do it on
find
my
that
own,
value
correct.
and the confidence back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that journey itself, finding who you are.
Yeah, yeah. But there were moments where I did pass that line, and then I asked for help.
Right.
No, but we always say that like it's as a family, we are firmly behind chasing dreams, right? So when he said we were all very puzzled, like wow, how do you decide in like 15 minutes and then in the middle of COVID, you're crazy lah. But all of us were like 100% behind him lah. But like, you know, we have our doubts, but we tell him like, yeah, you know, you want to go, then go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Right.
We will be behind you.
Right. And so what was the dream that made you decided that I want to move to Taiwan?
When I was 11, it was given to me. I didn't think of it. Like the dream was to be the best actor in Singapore. Then as I grew older, it became like I want to be an international actor, an actor that has projects all over the world, because
Right.
acting is my medium of understanding the world. So I needed to be an actor that was working internationally, not just locally. So then Taiwan became a natural step, because initially I had a very good friend there. Then it was very my wife is Taiwanese, so it became a very obvious. And I was okay with having my kids having their education there as well. So it became a very natural step to take lah. So that's why I had to go, not because I want to go. Yeah.
Right. Is that dream? The calling.
I don't even call. I don't know. It's like I just have to, because actually people like to. They look at the things I've done and the things I'm doing and think, wow, Andie is very like risk taker and all. Like if you ask my brother, I'm like timid and conservative as hell. You know, if I cannot do it, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it unless I'm sure. But I can't help it. I have to do it. Yeah.
What was that thing behind?
Not from me. I can't take credit. It's just something like I know I have to do this, and
It's a knowing.
yeah.
It's a knowing.
Is it a knowing? I just have to do it, lor. It's like you're hungry, you have to eat, right? Don't know lah. Yeah, I have to do it. I know I have to, and I can't take credit from it. That's why I always say, like, I cannot take credit for it. Like, oh, you're so like determined and all. I'm
so
like,
motivated.
I'm not. I have to do it.
When you say have to do it,
Yeah.
have to do what?
Have to keep. I have to be in this production. Have to be in this. It's my way of learning about the world. Okay, so if you want to put it in a very macro way, I have to keep learning about the world and myself.
Right.
Yeah, I have to, and the medium that my life has chosen for me is
Right.
through acting.
Right.
And then so I'm gonna, I respect it. I'm aware of it. I respect it. So I trust it. I mean, you bring me where I'm supposed to go. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna try.
It's like a Tao thing, right? The Tao, follow the Tao, and then
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't really have those like
you just knew you just had to be there and
Yeah.
you just follow it. And then, of course, it wasn't the high dream that you expected, but it was a low dream that kind of woke you up to really find that power inside of you.
Yeah. So it used to be when I was younger, like I want to be famous, I want to win awards and all that. But now it's just that, like I know it's there, I can't help it.
Right.
I'm just gonna go. I mean, like even when we started our work with Creative Eateries, the only condition was that I will still have to act lah. If the right project comes, yes, I can be more selective with my job. But
Right.
if the right project comes, I have to do it. I can't. That's my
Right, that's
I
your
have
calling.
To, yeah,
It's like
I
a
have
thing.
to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Powerful.
Yes, yes. So then, right now being part of this White Knight, as well as being a CEO, CMO of the company, and recently having acquired Creative Eateries. So then the thing here is this, right? What do you see as this next level vision you have for yourself personally? Beyond this whole thing around wanting to turn around F&B businesses and create a success blueprint.
Right, we know that there's a marketing narrative. But then how do you feel about this whole new venture that's coming up? It's like a new journey where the three siblings, really join forces. It's like a bring up the relationship to a whole new level.
From a relationship perspective?
From a
you're talking
relationship perspective and also for the dream, the vision from each one of you guys.
Yeah, your personal one.
Oh, we were kind of just chatting about this just right outside before we get
but
into it.
I don't really have much of a feel for that actually, in the sense that it's just trusting the process.
Right.
The platform might be bigger, but the process remains the same. So I've always said this. I'm very process driven. I'm very system driven. The platform might be bigger. It might look like a bigger dream, a bigger platform.
Right.
But the process that I'm doing this has not changed.
So that
Has not
keeps you
changed.
grounded
Yeah,
rather
it
than
has not
being
changed.
hooked up
Has
by the
not
high
changed,
dream,
yeah.
you know.
Like I think Ash was asking me like, today is your day. Like, how do you feel? I feel nervous because I need to be on stage and do the opening speech as a CEO more
He's
than
talking
anything
about
else.
our media day on the 17th
Right.
of November.
Yeah. So
Yeah. He's not media trained, just in case you all couldn't tell. He's not.
yeah. So I think to the process behind that, it's the whole business, the whole journey, relationship wise, or even the business, the platform wise, it feels like a much bigger responsibility for sure.
Right.
Right? But I feel the groundwork remains the same, right? The processes remain the same. And it's just got to, for me, it's just trusting the process
Got it.
and trusting the people around me to move forward together.
Got it.
Yeah.
Andie, what does this journey mean for you?
I mean, on the relationship basis, like I've always kind of knew that I wanted to work with my brothers, but we just don't know at what capacity. And I always had that for a very long time. But we are all doing our own paths, and we don't know how our paths are going to align. We don't know, right? And it feels like it's separate,
Right.
Because my Ash is a banker,
Right.
so we're all going at different ways. So it's like I don't see a point where we meet, but like I feel like it might come one day. I just don't know. Maybe when you're 60, in my mind, I was thinking, like then we could do something together, whatever. But so when this opportunity came, then it was like, oh, okay, it's earlier than I expected,
Right.
but it is what I wanted, because I know I would enjoy working with them, and I'm learning a lot from working with them, because we haven't really worked at this intensity and at this level, where it's very, very, very demanding, and there is no gap for any of your personal insecurities,
Right.
So it's very demanding for you as a human being to cope. At an emotional level, it's quite mental level. You have to be at a certain level. So I'm learning a lot from them, just watching them work and watching their strength. Like I used to have a certain image of Adam, right, because of the way but watching him sometimes now in his element, I was like, wow, I've never seen him like shine like that. Like this is really his place, So there were moments I had heavy doubt, and there were moments where I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, he got this, So it's a learning process for me, and I'm enjoying it because it helps me see my brothers even more
For who they really
for
are.
who they really are. Yeah. So at a personal relationship level, that's it. My own selfish way, I would say I've only done two things with my life, career-wise. One is me being a creative myself, right, and an artist, and I enjoy that. I'm sure any creative out there would know that if you are given a platform and a place and the funding to shine, and that's heaven for us, right? So the second thing that I've started to explore about more professionally about 5-6 years ago was empowering creatives, which is producing work. So I produce short films. I've co-directed and produced like varieties and branded stuff online and stuff. So through all these things, right, initially when people tell me about directing or producing, I'm like, I just want to act, like build the playground and let me play in it. I don't make me build the playground. It's very boring. It's very tedious and not fun. But then I remember like 6 years ago, I produced my first short film called what was that? The War one. The Last Song. And then it was a war film that put Singapore in the near future, where a squad of Singaporean NS men was trapped in a place. And then I was also acting in it because save cost lah. So I was also in it. So like a squad of 5 or 6 people. Then the director was also my friend. So I was just there I produced the thing, and then I was just there. And it was very late. We were shooting like 18-hour day. Everyone was damn tired, but we had to do a close out of everyone, and I was the last person because I'm the producer. I cannot shoot first then go home, right? I have to be the last one, right? So I'm the last one, and then I expected myself to be damn grumpy and tired at the end of the day because I want to go home and sleep, right? But I actually got to watch every one of the actors like do their takes one by one, and I'm just at the corner. Then I see my director directing because it was not on me, right? So I actually have the time to like, for the first time, like take a step back and observe these people doing their thing. And I was like, damn, like these people they're good. Like like, you know, when they're in their element, it's like, oh wow, and I made it. I made it happen. I found the money. I found this crew. I found this location. I pinned that goddamn poster on the wall. And then all these things allowed them this 15 seconds for them to shine. And there was something there, you know? It was something like, it felt like okay, like maybe this feels fulfilling. Like there's something there. So then I started exploring more of that. And so to me, I started to producing on and off ad hoc throughout the past 6 years. So when I approached Creative Eateries, to me, it's the same thing. The only reason why I am even involved is that like I want to be the producer for these chefs and creative culinary creators, right? They are the people I want to help shine. So if I can help be a part of this engine that can really build all these things so that they can shine, I want to produce for them. I want to be their producer. Yeah.
I mean, just now I heard a lot around, I mean, just before we came in, right, you spoke about like how, you know, this whole acquisition of Creative Eateries, the work that you're doing now is really the real stuff. So it almost sounds like, you know, Joe and Doe was more like a test bed. And then this is like where you really show up in a big way, right? So, and as the saying goes, what got you here is not going to get you there. So then evidently a person will need to develop to a certain degree in order to make this whole thing succeed, right? So for each of you personally, where do you feel you need to develop and grow in order to make this a success for yourself?
Do you want to start first?
No lah, of course you are.
Where do we have to go? I think running a company with 250 people is very different from running a team of 10, 20, right? The whole journey itself made me a lot more aware of things, right? As much as I always say this, I'm very process driven, right? But I realized that no matter how process driven you are, there's this human element, there's this awareness that you need to be very mindful of, right? And that constant reminder, especially working with Andie, like you can see like the awareness of how this platform brings it to him. It also shares with me like actually this is something that I have not awakened, right? This level of awareness of how impactful things can be, how much things that I say will have a much bigger impact. And that is the journey that I feel, the communications, the awareness of things. It's where it's going to get me to the next stage, right? Like I know I have what it takes to do the process. I know what it takes to do the work. But sometimes the work alone is not enough, right? And how do you communicate your work? How do you get everyone's hearts towards the same direction, right? Sometimes that's a lot more important than just purely putting my head down and getting work done, right? Especially as a CEO, that position puts me in a place where I need to be able to rally the troops. I need to be able to share the vision that I have. I need to be the leader that shows what needs to be done in the future. Like where are we moving towards, right? That was something that Andie and I have spoke a couple of times. And like, you know, I feel that could be something that I really, really want to work towards too, especially on this journey. Like I do have an idea, I do have a vision, but how do I communicate this vision? How do I communicate this idea out, right? And yeah, I think that will definitely bring me to the next level for this platform itself.
Well, I love that, the whole part around embracing the other aspect of yourself that you've not really leaned into, the people, the communication, and that's so important, especially when you have so many people you're going to be managing moving forward.
I have to say, the more aware I am, the scarier it becomes.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps life exciting, interesting. It makes you feel maybe a bit more alive.
Right, just when we think we actually understand
Yeah.
something, we realize there's actually more of the same thing. We're going deeper and deeper and deeper into it.
For sure. I think the depth of understanding this awareness,
Right.
it's something that I didn't think that I needed. Right? And every day for the past 3-4 weeks after taking over, it's just becoming clearer and clearer that it's something that I need to work on. I need to grow so that I can be more efficient in being the leader of the company itself, right? On the business element is.
知道就好。Just kidding. Good to be very aware. Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, it's not like he's bad at it. It's just that it takes a lot to be a leader of a company that, we have 250 staff, so it takes a lot lah. And I know it weighs on him, as it should. As it should, yeah. So I guess the question you directed to me personally, what's the question again?
Around where do you
what
feel
do
you
you
need
feel
to
like
grow
I need
and
to grow?
develop, right, to get to this next level,
Yeah.
especially now that you are taking this huge CMO role.
Yeah, yes. The only reason why I even think I could take this CMO role is because I was very clear about my strengths and weaknesses and where my experience are. So they would know if I would just say like, oh, this one I really don't know how to do, or I can learn, but it will take me a very long time and stuff. So that's the only reason I could do it. I think then that's the place I need to understand, because it's no longer just about like creating stuff, right? Even when I was a producer, it was about like, okay, I get this amount of resource, and then I just create the best what I can, hire the right people, and then, but now there's many aspects to it. There's different people in the department. There are vendors. There are this, and then we're also dealing with like the pay structure, how many hours you work a day, there's so many like corporate things
right,
that are like small things that I need to fully grasp and understand before I am comfortable making big decisions.
Right.
So the understanding and learning about all these things is taking time, but I don't have time because we are in F&B and we don't have time.
So you're going to force yourself to grow, to keep
I
going.
mean, every day I'm growing already.
Right.
I feel like I'm taking a master class every day.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
quite mad. I mean, people say, hey, the Andie parachute into this CMO role. To these people, I say, you are absolutely right. It's right. It's true, But I'm very lucky because I know I can stay in my lane, and I know there are all the experts and the people that are already in place to do this with me. And I'm transparent with them. I'm not, first day of the meeting, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to have to lean very heavily on the things I have no experience in. And then they all look at me like, why are you like saying this kind of thing on the first day of your thing? Because I know it might be very disempowering, but I also don't want to pretend like, I'm the CMO, so, like, give me the analytics, I know exactly how to do it. Like, I want to, I just want to be honest and real. So I want to be honest, I want to be real, and I want to be able to tell them when I need help, and then tell them my expectations when I demand it, and it comes from an honest place. And so far, it has been working. Yeah, and there's a lot I need to learn, but so far I think I'm doing okay lah, right? Okay,
You're
right?
doing great. Actually, I have to say, I think our principle is always about doubling down our strengths. Yeah. And what Andie can do, it's rarely what most marketers can do, right? While I can find someone who can understand analytics, but how often do I find someone who understands brand, who understands media, who understands what the true meaning of our mission is, to be able to share it out so clearly, right? I don't think anyone else can do it. I think he's the only candidate who can do it. Right?
High praise.
I don't think, and that element itself trumps everything else.
Pay raise.
We will talk about it later. Yeah.
So what are both of you guys becoming that you weren't before?
Or becoming that
Right.
we weren't before.
Through this whole journey of business itself, what are you becoming that you weren't before?
I would say I'm becoming a lot more aware. I'm becoming a lot more aware of things. And I think the intensity also forces me out of my comfort zone. Right? I know the fact that I'm actually quite efficient in my work. Right? Over the last 20 years, I've been honing on these skills.
Right.
But all of this efficiency will not matter if you do not have the right awareness to do it.
Right.
Right? And that it's the reality that is facing me every day now. Right?
I mean, I would say I'm more open because I used to be, I'm 40 this year, so before 40, I've been very focused and narrow, like laser focused on like the only one thing I want to do. Like this year is the first time I'm like, I'm going to let life tell me, whatever you want me to go, if it speaks to me, I'm gonna follow it. I'm not gonna just block out everything else anymore. So this also has taught me to be more open because I did surprisingly much more than I expected. Like found a lot of fulfillment, in and challenge in this role so far. More than I expected.
Right. How is it transforming your relationship with passion and money?
How is it transforming?
Right.
I've always been the person like I just need enough to like make sure my kids get a good education,
That's
make
right.
sure we don't
Now it's
worry
not just
about
about the
our
kids.
next meal,
Yeah.
and then I can act. Then that's it. Then done already. I
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not like I won't say like I can live like a beggar or a vagabond. I don't think I can do that. But I'm not super motivated by money lah. And if anything, I feel very strongly about if you are passionate and you are creative and you are capable, then you should be able to make a decent living for yourself. To me, I feel very strongly about that. But that's not the case, especially here in Singapore. Right? And I feel very strongly about that. Yeah, if I could help it, I will help it. I'm helping it now. I'm hoping that I'm helping it now. Yeah.
Tell me more a little bit. What do you mean?
We have so many singers, actors, directors,
Right.
like chefs, painters. They're all freaking starving here. We have no support for them. We have no appreciation, may I dare say, for their work and the things that they do. And yes, they are not the base level of the hierarchy of needs, but they are at a very higher level that we need, right? And it takes time for people to develop from the bottom up. As artists, right? A lot of artists are actually just craftsmen before they become artists. But if we don't even let them have that option to hone their craft and to enlighten themselves up to the level of being an artist, not just with a craft but with life, then
Got it.
it's, to me, that's very, very sad.
Got it. So you feel strongly about the marginalization of the artist, the performer, in the scene as the creative.
I feel that they should be, let's be realistic, right? Like for most places in the world, you are not gonna, most artists, like pure artists, are not gonna make a huge windfall of money, but in many places they could lead a decent life with a decent, they don't have to worry about their next meal. Their kids can send to school. They can still enjoy some high quality entertainment sometimes, or food or whatever. So I feel like the quality of life, if you choose the path of art, not just art as in like drawing art, but like, it can be F&B, can be whatever. You choose any of these passion-based industries. Like if you are going to be, you're going to be at the bottom 10-20% of your peer group, which is, to me, unreasonable. Yeah.
Help me understand a little bit.
In
When
what
you say
sense?
the structure itself,
Just we don't have. How what can you clarify our question?
it's like the unsaid structure that kind of exists at the background of the society that we are operating on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're talking about the whole social economical status, the way
Yeah.
people perceive the role itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I right to say that?
You are right, lah. Yeah, because there is, I mean, like one great example I can give is we had a poll, right, during COVID. Then like, what is the most
Essential.
work and what is the least essential? And like the least is actors, or singers. Artists are like the least essential work, lah. And people are saying that while watching Netflix every day. So I don't know what's the logic behind that. But to me, it's like there is zero understanding and appreciation for, like when Culture Pass came out, everybody in the arts is like, if they can give more, then everybody in the public, at least from what I read, is like waste our taxpayers' money. So I mean, I'm like, I wish you can't. This is what it is, and I'm not faulting it. But the fact is that we don't really care too much about people who choose to pursue creative work in Singapore. Like, we really don't.
And what do you think needs to transform in this ecosystem?
How it will transform?
If this,
What needs to transform?
if something
What
can
needs to
happen,
transform,
what needs to transform?
I don't need it. Yeah, I don't fight whatever is happening. So I don't think that way.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, do I like it? I don't like it, but I mean, it is what I accept it. I'm fine with it.
Right.
And do I think it's good or bad? I don't think it's good or bad. This is
It's
what
like the
it is.
game, the feel of the game.
This is just what it is now.
Right.
So unfortunately, if you want to get things, if you are creative and you want to go far, then you have to get out. Yeah. And people don't like to hear that. But so many of my creative friends, or not just friends, or creative people I meet outside, they are at very high levels of creative industries. I don't even know them because they've never been in our industry, or they left when they were really young. But they are doing great work, but just not for us. So, yeah, that's just the real state of what it is now, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just very present to what's coming up. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about yourself, Adam? What would you say is your relationship to passion and money?
Passion and money.
Like, how is it evolving?
I think there's a common theme among the three of us.
Right.
As in, we know what is enough with money, right? We very early on we know we do like to enjoy life at a certain level, right? But anything more don't bring that much more value to us or to me, right? And because of that, the relationship with money has not really changed for the last 5-6 years, right? Even with this job, the relationship of the money didn't really change much with me, right? For passion-wise, I just feel it's still the same thing as I shared with you just now, right? The grind behind, you were asking me why do I want to keep doing this? Why do I want a bigger platform? Why do I want a ticket to the race? The answer is, I think I can. Therefore, I should. If I know I can contribute more, I think I can build something bigger. That I should go ahead and do it if I have the opportunity. And very thankfully, I have this opportunity for me to build on something, right? And because of that, I think that building, the whole building process, I would think that would be sort of like my passion, right? That building process, it's what drives me forward. Yeah.
And what's the impact you would like to create from the platform itself?
I think we have a very shared value towards becoming. Because I also want to say this, I'm not F&B guy. I'm in this industry for less than like 24 months.
Technically, you have been for 2-3 years already.
Barely 2 years, barely 2 years, going into 2 years, right? Yeah. And because of that, I would say, I know that the industry has a lot of challenges. And when I see that I could become the back engine for the creative and for the F&B, like the chefs and the people who are so passionate about food, that became the very clear motivation for me to push this forward. How can I build a back engine, process-driven, optimized, right? into a place where
which you can't sometimes expect a pure artist to even be able to do at the same time.
Yeah, and it's also same thing that it's very hard for me to try to express this out in a very artistic way, like very communicative way. It's also very difficult for me, right? I'm very, because of the way I am. Therefore, the best way I can contribute is actually by building this back engine, by building this platform that can empower more people. And not only empowering more people, but also empowering the staff within the company and the customers that's actually coming to us. Right, that level of empowerment, that I hope that it can be like rewarding for people who comes in contact with us, right? And that is the constant drive and constant pursuit.
Right. And that's your work. That's the art.
Yes. I would say
For you.
that I would think that would be my art.
Yeah.
that
Right.
would be. Yeah.
I love how they are both like lifting each other up or
Right.
sharing about their
Right.
passion and money.
I think it's
Yeah.
Because we have gone through a lot of alignment, right? And it has stripped down so much of the noise in this whole process of ego, of fame, of pursuit of like riches. Is don't get me wrong, this is a very, very good opportunity for us to achieve that. But the whole core of it is not for that.
Of course, the stake
Right?
is high.
Yeah, and because of stripping off all of these things,
Right.
it might look like we are elevating each other on what we are saying, but because we have aligned so much of our values, so much of what we want to do, and we had so many difficult conversations in the last couple of months, in the 2025 itself, right? That he has gotten to the point where we are very clear what we are here to achieve, right? We really want to. What's the goal moving towards the 2026, 2027?
What are we risking for?
Yeah.
What are we taking the risk for?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a stake. There's a big
Yeah,
stake.
and because at least for me, I'm actually quite happy where I am, right? Even before this whole thing, right? I'm quietly enjoying my life.
Yeah.
Right. I'm really quietly enjoying my life.
Right.
I'm running 5 cafes, and because of the way I have done things,
Right.
it's running relatively well, right? So because of that, I don't have much worry. I can spend a lot of time with my kids.
So
I can
this
spend
is
a
the
lot-
next level, the challenge.
Yes, this is the
You're
next
after
challenge.
the
This is
next
the
challenge.
backside itchy. Then
It's the backside itchy. Yeah.
Right.
This is really
To
the
push
backside
yourself to see
itchy.
how far you can go.
Yes, because
Right.
I think I could. I feel like I still have a lot more I can give.
Right.
And when the opportunity presents, I feel I wanted to have the courage to challenge this, to challenge myself, right? Actually, Anthony, the founder of Creative Eateries, was sharing that to do this business, the number one thing you need is courage. And it's like, and that was part of the interview process we have with him. What makes you think you could do it? I was like, I think I can, and I want to pursue this, right? The courage to actually take on this whole thing, I think is also something that they see in us, to trust us with the legacy. Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here in the podcast.
Thank you for having
And
us.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your nuggets of wisdom.
Okay.
If you
Not
think
sure
so,
if it's that
if you
wise,
think
but
so.
thank you. Yeah. Thank
Right.
you. Yeah.
Maybe I will summarize a little bit based on
Yeah.
what I hear, right? And then, I mean, of course, you can each also look at the experience you've had sharing. I'm sure there are things that you've said to each other that is new to you, right? Because there are some things you all don't talk about, and probably the questions that we ask has prompted stuff around each other that you're hearing for the first time. But I think on my end, what I found like really interesting is the part of this process that the both of you have, the siblings have developed in terms of relating to each other, which I think that is so much needed in today's world, where whether it's emotions or relationships, those are mostly undermined and in favor of how do we succeed at the cost of people, right? So, but in your world, there's always it's because of the relationship and the base that we've built, which is why we can now build on top of it to have something big and meaningful that we can bring to the world.
Right.
And in this case, that's the F&B world. Right. So I think if there's anything that we can learn as a really big lesson, it's really about how do we not keep things under the carpet? How do we not walk away and ignore when there are problems? But instead, how do we come together, sit with each other, show the evidence, and come to a conclusion as to how to move on together?
There's that level of unity and cooperation.
Yes.
that they display
Yeah.
very strongly.
Thank you for the high
Affirmation.
praise, affirmation. I mean, yeah. We try.
Yeah. And what would you say you are kind of taking away from hearing from each other today?
Oh,
To do a summary.
Yes.
quite interesting actually. I actually didn't know he had some thoughts. Also, I didn't know that he. Okay, we always did tell him that he needs to think deeper, feel more. But it's good to hear from himself that he actually is starting, because awareness is one of the hardest things you can teach, right? Like a lot of times you don't. If you're not aware, you can't do anything about it, right? Once you're aware, you kind of the following steps are gonna happen naturally. So it's quite. I mean, to be fair, he has already been growing so much as a human being, and self-awareness and insecurities and stuff. He has done so much work on his own for the past. If you had met him 10 years, 20 years ago, he was not great. But in this past 2 decades, I've seen him grown as a human being to this point. And then to hear him speak like that basically means that he also concurs that the importance of being aware and doing self-work, and it's nice to see him on this path lah. So basically just hearing him talk about self-awareness and at this depth, I feel like it's giving me confidence that he will be a even more rounded CEO than maybe I would have given him credit for. Yeah.
Very high praise. Actually,
You're my boss now.
I always feel like with Andie, this podcast also like kind of this whole session kind of like affirms the fact that he always sees me better than I see myself. Right, like even when I don't think I did much, but he will think that actually, he recognizes what I did well and gives me credit for it. Right, I think that is very important for me. Right, especially for even you can see even when we have so much conversations, conversations like this helps.
Well, I'm sensing so much emotions
Right.
in what you're saying.
Right. Just want to be present to that.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, other than just being aware, it's also that very thankful that after 3-4 weeks of like hectic conversations, the time taken here actually allows me to even be more grateful and thankful for like having my 2 brothers with me on the journey, because that kind of like in all the whirlwind of all the intensity of things that's going on, that they can remind me of like, hey, do you remember like this journey, things that you have done, how you have improved, how I've grown. Right? I think that's definitely very, very helpful. Yeah, very, very insightful for sure.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for being on the podcast, and thank you for bringing your humanness
Oh, thank
out
you.
for the world to see, because there's really a lot to learn, even though the 2 of you don't realize it yet. But the key message here is quite important, right? I mean, we spoke about not keeping things under the rug, and also about the whole self-awareness and doing self-work. So I think the key message here for everyone is this, right? You want to progress, move forward in life, and move to somewhere meaningful, it's important to do that inner work. And I think that's where we can leave the audience with today.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
very much for your
us.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed it.
Thank you.